Back and talk to you now about a photography exhibition heading to the city next month, celebrating the contribution of older volunteers in and around Bristol Harbour. Age UK Bristol and Boston Tea Party, they're collaborating throughout October through an exhibition by Sarah Robbins, images of volunteers from a number of venues. And two of the volunteers from two of the venues, Chris Harvey from MV Balmoral and also Alan Henham from the SS Great Britain, are with me now. Good afternoon, thank you for coming in and sharing.
Good afternoon. Nice to be here.
What does it feel like to be photographed and acknowledged, as your role as volunteers?
Well, Sarah was snapping away merrily on the Balmoral while we were all just getting on and doing our thing. So I think that probably comes across in some of her photographs.
How about you, Al?
Yes, she just said, "Can I have a picture of you?" Then that was it.
Yeah.
So it's all very natural in that case.
I hope so. Yes.
I hope.
And she is a photography student. How easy was it to sort of be photographed doing your natural thing? Because of course, when the camera's there, it's sort of you're a bit more on display, as it were.
I think it's fair to say she perhaps. I don't remember much about it, so I think she must have crept up on us on occasion.
Right. And have you seen the photographs?
Oh yes, yeah. They were on M Shed. There was an exhibition at M Shed.
And what do you make of them?
They were very good.
I haven't seen the exhibition. I've only seen one or two of the shots that she's taken of us. But perhaps I'll have to get along to the Boston Tea Party at some point.
And how important is volunteering to you?
Well, I volunteered here and there for a good number of years, and I get a lot of enjoyment out of it.
Yeah. What enjoyment do you get?
Well, I like talking to people, and I meet a lot of people at the Great Britain, and hopefully I make their visit to the Great Britain a bit more interesting by answering their questions.
Yeah. And how about you then, Chris?
Well, I think therapy comes pretty high with me. I had a breakdown in 2003 and had to give up working, had to take early retirement. So as an older volunteer, I started quite early at 53 on board the Balmoral. My wife virtually frog marched me up the gangplank to join the volunteers. And I'm damn glad she did, because there's good group, terrific camaraderie, and you're doing something useful. So, what's not to like, really?
And why the Balmoral in particular?
We'd been on a trip on board her not long before, and I'd been shown around the engine room by the chief engineer. So that had something to do with it, but I've always been interested in ships. And as a child, I lived in East Africa, and my father had long leave every 3 years, and we used to travel by sea back to Britain, a 3-week journey. So not always by sea, later on it was by air, but I do remember sea voyages.
And what is it about, do you love sort of displaying your knowledge of the Balmoral, your passion for it?
Well, we're more involved with the maintenance of the vessel. Occasionally you get visitors coming around and you do a bit of, as you say, explaining and showing them around. But otherwise we're actually involved in make, do and mend. Very much do and mend at the moment. Well, we're a bit short of cash.
No, of course, understand.
But yes, actually getting stuck in and doing things in the ship and making a difference, trying to keep her up together.
And you're part of Brunel's famous legacy, though, aren't you?
That's right, yes. Of course, we are slightly different, because we do get lots of visitors from all over the world, and they are interested in ships and the history of the ship and Brunel. And it's really good to talk to people and explain things.
And I suppose you're asked a hell of a lot of questions from tourists and visitors. Is there anything that's ever stumped you?
Not yet.
Very good. And how did you find yourself getting involved as a volunteer?
Well, as I say, I've volunteered in different places. I've been volunteering on the Avon Valley Railway for quite a while.
Right.
And I wanted to change. And having been interested in ships for a long time, I thought, well, I'll try the Great Britain. And I'm glad I did. Yeah.
I mean, this exhibition is celebrating older people in their active volunteer roles in and around Bristol Harbour. Why is it something we should celebrate? Do you think?
Well, there's a lot of heritage down there. The Great Britain, of course, is one bit of it, but at M Shed or outside M Shed, you have the John King, the Paranaut, and the Mayflower preserved vessels. You also have the cranes, and you have the Matthew replica as well. So there's quite a lot of maritime heritage going on. Underfall Yard, I believe, has its own volunteers, and that again is an interesting piece of heritage. I don't know what state the machinery and stuff that they have in there is in. It's a long time since I've been there. And I think all these things do need looking after, preserving, and explaining and showing to current generations.
And how many hours a week can you devote to the course?
Well, I do 2 days a week. Not terribly long days.
No.
Roll up about 10:30, disperse about 4:30, perhaps to the pub on a Friday evening. You know, well, there's the camaraderie side
of course,
of it.
yeah.
Come on.
Ahoy shipmates and all the rest of it, absolutely. And what bit of the Balmoral are you working on specifically? Because you say it's make, do and mend, or do and mend.
Well, at the moment, the weather deck of the ship is a wooden deck with traditional caulking methods used, and I'm afraid, especially after this dry summer, the wood has shrunk and a lot of the seams have opened up, and we're trying to do our best to repair it, but there's an awful lot more work needs to be done than we've got funds to do at the moment, or manpower.
And how many hours can you devote to the SS Great Britain every week?
Well, I do 1 whole day a week, and sometimes 2 if there's something extra on.
But it's something you obviously very much enjoy in all weathers.
Oh yes.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
So you're part of a celebration, which is lovely.
Yes.
Brilliant. Well, you'll have to get to the Boston Tea Party to see the exhibition. You haven't seen it yet. I know you've seen the photographs now, but this launches on the 1st of October. It's the Boston Tea Party, marking United Nations International Day for Older Persons. So you're part of that. So congratulations on that, and thank you for sharing the celebration of being volunteers. Thanks very much, Chris and Alan, on BBC Radio Bristol.